Happy Saturday, all. Happy St. Patrick's Day. We'll get started in just a few minutes. I'm starting early so people can get the notification that I am live. So as you're coming in, tell me what you're doing this St. Patrick's Day. What are you doing? Are you guys out? Obviously, if you're watching this, you're not out. If you're watching the replay, put in hashtag replay. If you are watching, if you are joining live, put in hashtag live. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and just get everything started here. We have a couple minutes. Again, as you're coming in, just let me know if you're watching the replay or if you're joining live. When you join live, hashtag live. When you join the replay, hashtag replay. We'll get started in about 3 minutes here. Make sure that you do subscribe to the channel. My name is sociallynina. I've been doing lives this entire week. However, actually not this entire week. This is my third one, but I'll be doing it for a week. But even when I'm not going live, there's a lot of things on the channel that you can find related to YouTube, Canva, PicMonkey, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, just everything that you need for digital marketing for a small business. So we have about 2 minutes here. As you come in, let me know if you're watching live or if you're watching the replay, hashtag live or hashtag replay. And tonight you'll see me sipping out of my YouTube side hustle wine tumbler that those who are joining my YouTube side hustle are going to get. There's a couple prizes I'm giving out depending on when people join and all of that kind of stuff. But we'll get started in about 2 minutes here, just joining early today so everyone can find their way in. I'm going to go ahead and check the group. If you're not in my group yet, Pink Boss Club, make sure you head over to pinkboss.club to join my free Facebook group. And we're going to get started in about 1 minute. As you're joining, as a reminder, if you're joining live, hashtag live. If you're joining and I just saw a message, but it was retracted. If you're joining and it's a replay, hashtag replay. Okay. If you do any, as you're coming in, I also want to know where you're joining from and what your business is if you have a business. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is sociallynina. Hey, how are you? I think I've seen some of your comments on my channel. So welcome. I'm looking over here because my comments are over here. But welcome tonight. My name is sociallynina Thomas. For those of you that do not know me, I am a digital marketer. So I am a digital marketing consultant. That means I help small businesses find extra clients and help small businesses use social media and digital marketing tips and tricks to actually do that. So if you're not a member or a subscriber of my channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also like, go ahead and share this out to anybody that you think that needs it. This is something new that I'm trying, going live on YouTube so I can connect with people a little bit more. Oh, good. You said you're watching me all the time. Yeah, I've seen your videos. I mean, your comments and things like that. So good. It makes you feel good when you know people are actually out there watching. So this week we're talking about how to start a YouTube channel, right? This is because I have my YouTube side hustle coming up. It is a 2-day workshop. It's a virtual workshop on the 23rd and on April 6th. I'll tell you about that more later. If you want information on that, you can go over to YouTubesidehustle.com. Today, specifically, we are talking about video scripts. We've already talked about just the general steps to start a YouTube channel. And then we talked about how to come up with topics. So if you haven't watched those, go ahead and look at the playlist. I'll leave that in the description and as well as the comments. And I'm just going to move this over so I can see the comments all in one. Good. And you're welcome. I love doing these videos. It's just sometimes it gets a little busy, so I can't always do the videos. So I figured that this live stream would be the way to go. Okay, let's talk about scripting your videos. I want to give you 5 tips, but one thing I want to emphasize, one of the tips are even though it's a script and there's some, you know, if you have a YouTube channel where you're actually acting it out and things like that, that's one thing. But when you're speaking in front of the camera or you're doing some things on your computer, I always think about when I first started my YouTube channel, my advice would be make sure you talk about something that you know, so you're really, really comfortable about it. And when you actually start kind of rambling sometimes, or if you start talking on different topics, you feel comfortable enough to kind of ad lib, okay? Because you never, ever, ever want to just read from a script. Think of being in front of the audience. We're in YouTube, but think of being in front of an audience. You wouldn't want to be standing in front of an audience and actually reading out a script. So this is my script for today. It's gonna look so messy, you guys. This is my script for the day. It's like a couple of things on here because I don't want to read from my script, okay? So today I'm gonna tell you a couple of tips, but keep in mind, hey, Linda, keep in mind that you never, ever wanna read from the script, okay? So in our third day of how to start our YouTube channel, let's talk about our video scripts. The first thing that people always ask before they even start creating their video is, how long does the video need to be? Now, a lot of YouTubers say this, and I agree, you know, it's as long as it needs to be. But what does that really mean? What it means is you want people to stay on your video. You want people to stay on your channel. You want people to like you and connect with you. So if you're doing a long, drawn out explanation of something and they just now found you and say they search, because hashtag everything is searchable. Go ahead and put that in the comments, you guys. Everything is searchable. They found you, you're some new person, and then they're looking for an answer to a question and you don't get to their answer until like 15 minutes in, they're gone, right? So as far as the length, what you want to do is answer the question. Now, if you're giving background information, or if you're giving a story, or if you're giving additional details, and actually, let me step back. If you have ever heard of the DISC assessment, go ahead and put DISC, that's what it is, DISC assessment. Put that in the comments. That's something I learned a long time ago. I take it like every couple of years, and it's the best thing that I've learned for communication, because there's people that have different ways of communicating. For instance, I'm a high D, dominant. So it means if you send me an email or you talk to me and you're talking about all the details and you don't get to what I need to the end, I'm like spaced out. I'm like, I'm not paying attention. But if you bold certain things in an email, or when you're talking to me, if you tell me the topic or the big picture first, then you got me, and then we can talk about the details. Other people want all of the details first, and then you can tell them the big picture. So on your YouTube channel, you want to account for both of those. So what you want to do is, when you're talking about the length, you may answer their question quickly. And let's just think of, I don't know, maybe we're asking hair products, like, are you low or high porosity? How do you tell, right? So maybe my video is talking about how I figured out that I'm low porosity and this and that, and this is how you tell. But in my video, I'm going to say, if you want more information on low porosity hair versus high porosity hair, check out this other video. So that's my tip for you. When you're talking about length of your videos, make it as long as it needs to be to answer the question, and then separate those into a series of answers. So you don't have to keep it in one video. Remember, you want to create content on YouTube. So maybe you answer the question, and then the background information is a separate video. And then there's another video. You can split one video into multiple videos. That gives you the opportunity, one, to keep their attention and to answer their question. Two, people might find the other videos and then go back to your first video. So you're feeding the beast of YouTube and keeping them on your channel. So for anyone who has questions about length of your script and length of your video, I hope that answers your question. If not, put your questions in there and I'll come back to your questions, okay? So, and as you guys are joining, let me know who you are, because this is my only opportunity to really get you guys to tell me who you are. I asked them in some other videos, but let me know. Do you have a business? Are you just watching because you're home today, or you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel? Tell me about it. Just don't include links because YouTube will remove them. Okay, number 2, I talked about grabbing and keeping people's attention. Now, depending on where you read this, it either takes between 5 and 8 seconds to grab someone's attention. So my best analogy for this is thinking about when you're flipping through the channel on TV, or even looking through Netflix, right? there's a couple of things you want. Once you see that thumbnail, and I'm notorious for this, I'll click on something, I'll watch it for like a minute, and then I'm like, nope, I don't want to see it. And I change it. So just think about YouTube. You have a YouTube channel. It's like a network, right? So if someone's flipping through and they're trying to find the answer to their question, or they're trying to be entertained, or YouTube suggested it, and they come onto your video and you start with, hey, I'm Nina, and I have 20 years of IT experience, and nope, boring, I'm going to change it, right? What you want to do is start with the answer to their question, or start with exactly what the video is going to be about, because that one tells me, oh yes, I'm in the right place. And two, and I'm just going to have to scoop back, you guys. And two, it actually tells me from the way you're talking, is this something I want to listen to, right? Maybe I found the wrong video. So the first thing you need to do is explain exactly what the video is going to be about. And it could be as simple as, have you ever wondered how to cook a turkey, how to fry a turkey? I'm going to show you how, right? So a lot of people try to start their videos with that little splash screen and explaining who they are, and this is all my experience. Start with the answer to their question. Let them know what the video is going to be about, okay? Then you could do your quick, this is who I am, this is why, and all of that kind of stuff. Keep in mind, when you watch things on TV, they always recap like the last time on This Is Us, right? And then so you're all into it and you want to see what's going to happen, and then you stay hooked and then you watch it. So what you want to do is hook them in the beginning and make sure as you're going through that you're keeping their attention, right? So that brings me to number 2. So as you're creating your script, you can write down certain things, but never, ever, ever, ever read. I know I started with that, but bring out a couple of tips that you really want to make sure that you hit. And here's the thing. If you ever veer off and you ramble, because sometimes I do that too, especially on live, you could just pick up your notebook. No one cares that you're picking up your notebook. I've said that plenty of times in live and in videos. I'll say, and actually when I'm training in person, I do that. I say, let me look at my list and make sure I didn't miss anything. And you go back, you say, okay, we didn't talk about this. So you're going to have a list of things that you're going to talk about. Make sure it's not a long list unless you're doing, like, say, the 10 top 10 things, but make it about 3 or 4 points and just give yourself a sentence. And when you're creating your topics, if you are someone who really wants to get the attention of someone, one of the things that I teach in my YouTube side hustle is you don't want to just go into training. Sometimes you want to give a background or a story, depending on what type of channel you have. Okay. So it may be that you say, hey, are you tired of, and I think I did this. Are you tired of getting those Facebook watch, notifications? Me too. So I'm going to show you how in this video. So it's like, oh yes, you're connecting with your audience. So when you're doing your script, don't worry just about teaching them. You also want to connect with them. I'm going to check the comments really quick to see if there's any questions. Good stuff. Thank you. Okay. Yay. I love having you guys in here. So I might be doing lives a lot more than I do these recorded videos. Okay, good. Saturday night, got my sweats on, hair up. This is fun. Okay. So as we're going through, we talked about the length. We talked about attention. So if you're building your script and you have some things like this, there are different apps where you can actually look on your screen or put it on your screen. In fact, when I talk about editing your videos, if you're on, remind me to talk about that. I'll add that and I'll tell you which apps do that. But do not read, okay? Have lines that remind you. That's why I told you that you need to talk about something you're familiar with. When you're just starting out in front of the camera, talk about things that you know so you don't feel nervous, especially if someone, comes in. And if you're recording questions, you don't have to worry about the live stream. But if you know it, you don't get kind of caught up. Now, if you're following me on Instagram, sociallynina, I've been releasing different tips. One of my tips that I tell you guys is if you are following your script and say you mess up, don't worry about it. Don't stop the camera. I call it clap and keep it moving. You kind of reset yourself and keep it moving. Okay. So if you're reading from your script, it's going to sound like you're reading from your script, right? But if you just kind of freely talk about what you're talking about, remember, you can always edit it. You don't have to you could talk for 10 minutes and you edit it out and you end up with a 2-minute video, right? Think about movies and how they record that. That's months and years of recording, and they shrink it down to a 1 hour thing. So you can actually cut things out to make sure you get to your points. Okay. Next thing is you want to entertain in some kind of way. You know, your YouTube videos, depending on what you're doing, you could be doing skits. You could be doing makeup tutorials. You could be doing, so I have 2 channels now, Nina's DIY Life, and then also sociallynina, this one. And in this one, I don't tend to entertain too much because I know you guys are looking for the answers like this. And people are like, oh, I've been binge watched your videos trying to find answers. So for me, I want to make sure I get to the point. But at the same time, I don't want to sound boring, right? If I talk like this and I tell you that this is how you stop the fake, you guys aren't going to like that. The other thing is be yourself. So if you're reading from a script, you've probably thought about the grammar and how to say things right. But if you're just talking from your heart and who you are, like you're talking to a friend, what you're going to do is make sure you're connecting with someone. But again, entertain in some kind of way. Tell a story, share something about your life, or just connect with people in some kind of way. All right. The last tip of the night is going to be call to action, CTA. So everybody knows this. So as we're talking about this week, you'll know. Everybody put hashtag CTA, hashtag CTA. And I'm just going to look and see if there's any questions. Okay, good. So calls to action. Now, when you have a YouTube channel, even if you don't have a business, and even if you don't want them to buy anything from you, you have to have a call to action. Now, your first call to action when you first start your channel or when you're trying to get new subscribers, it should be subscribe. Subscribe. That's your call to action. You're telling people what to do. You may do it a couple of times. You may do it in the beginning. I'm horrible at that because I'm always answering the question, but at the end I do it, right? Do it at the beginning. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. There's some beauty bloggers that are amazing at doing that in the beginning, right? And they do it really quick. At the end, you want people to say, or during the your video, you can say something like, if you like this information, or if you really like hearing tips and tricks like this, make sure and subscribe, right? Because people, it's not like they don't want to subscribe. It's that they're so engulfed in you that they are not thinking about that. And what happens? YouTube is like, okay, got your answer, next video. And they're like, okay. So if you tell them and remind them to subscribe, believe me, they will subscribe. I know this because when I forget to do it in my videos, my numbers show it, right? So always in your script, usually at the end, but because YouTube, it might take them a while. And when you're first starting, they may not watch your entire video. Say it frequently throughout your video. Now, another thing that you can do is ask them a question. Like for everyone here, I keep on asking you all questions because I really want to get to know you and I want to know one. And so maybe the question of the night is, do you like these live streams? Do you want to continue doing them, right? One, it engages you with your audience. Two, you get to hear from them. They're watching your videos. Some people watch your videos for years and they don't say anything, but if you ask them a question, they'll answer it. It also gives you engagement on your video. So YouTube's like, hey, people kind of like her stuff, so let's show more people, right? Or saying like it or share it. Those are like the easiest ones. So when you're first starting, it doesn't take too much. It's like, hey, you guys, subscribe to my channel. Hey, like this, right? Put it in your script. The question of the night is, and then you just put the question of the night. Don't get upset if people don't answer. I did find out like people don't really answer a lot of my questions, but someone told me that they take notes when they're watching or they're doing something else. So they're just watching the video, but that gets you closer to your audience. Okay. So that's one set of call to action. I'm just going to check if you guys have questions, let me know, but call to action, always do a call to action. Okay. The next set is if you do have a business, and we're going to say service-based business. I have a service-based business, right? I have my Pink Boss Club. I have my YouTube side hustle. If you're thinking about join now because I'm giving out gifts like this. And my YouTube side hustle, I have different programs. I do different services for different people. Now, the strength in actually leading people somewhere, this is literally why I love YouTube, is because for years now, I've been telling people to join my group, Pink Boss Club, or I tell people, most of the time I tell them to join my group or to sign up for something, but mostly join my group. But what happens is people find me different places on the internet, usually YouTube first, because hashtag everything is searchable. Put that in. I'm going to tell you all that every night because it's the design of YouTube. But people will find me. And I do a call to action, and my call to action is go to my group. So instead of just having someone who watched me on YouTube and watched the next video, now they're in my group and I'm getting to know them. I answer more questions in my group. We get to know each other. I know about their business. You know, they get to see other things that I have coming up. So my biggest call to action is to move people to my group. The next call to action is you may have a freebie or you may have a program. I don't do that a lot on my YouTube channel. This is probably the second or third time in the last 4 years that I've talked about my programs here, because, and this is kind of a tip, you don't always want to sell to people. My YouTube channel is to give people value, and I want them to, of course, buy from me. I have services, but at the same time, I want them to feel comfortable. So I'm giving them value here. I give them value in my business, and then I give them value. And, you know, I don't send out a lot of emails. Sorry, y'all. I like videos, but I try to give people a lot of value. And then when they find something that they want to buy from me, you know what? They buy it. So just imagine somebody found your video that answered their question. And my call to action was go to my group, right? So they moved to my group. And then I happen to be selling something, and then they purchase. It's such an easy thing, and I'm not really involved in that other than putting my videos up. So that call to action is selling your services. Another call to action is if you have something, whether it's like an event or a product or anything like that, maybe you're demoing the product, and your call to action is to go look at the product or to go review the product or, you know, anything like that. Your call to action could be questions, right? Tell me what type of call to actions that you do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on videos. Just remember, when you take things that you're doing in digital marketing, it's really the same blueprint, right? What I do here in videos is the same thing people do in blogs. It's the same thing people do in emails. Same thing people do on social media. It's just a different format. So tell me some examples of some calls to action that you've either used or you're going to start using in your videos, okay? So let's start doing that. And then while you're doing that, go ahead and add any questions that you have about video scripts. In my YouTube side hustle program, which I'm going to tell you about now, I told you guys I'd tell you about it. Go ahead and add your questions while I'm telling you about this. We actually do a deep dive into scripting. So we talk about what you do first, second, all of that kind of stuff. We talk about how to look at your analytics to see if people are dropping off at certain points. We really focus on how do you create videos with ease, right? Not the stressful, I don't know how to do the techie stuff. I don't know what to say. I'm so worried about how I look. Y'all, it's Sweat Saturday with my hair up. You got to get that information out. And so in my YouTube side hustle program, it's a 2-day workshop, right? So we start live on March 23rd. It's a virtual workshop. You join me for 4 hours. Two weeks later, you join me again. What we do is I go through lessons like this, but we slow it down. You also have an action guide. So you're actually going through with me. It's kind of like school. And I teach you a lesson like topics. We go over topics. We go over the scripts. We go over being comfortable in front of the camera, finding your audience, building your channel, looking at analytics. We do all of that. But in between each lesson, I actually have you do an exercise. And then the group comes back. I make sure that they're small groups, but the group comes back and we go over the answers. You ask questions and things like that. After that, we have a Facebook group. So as you're going through and building your channel, if you have other questions, you ask me in the Facebook group. We also have a masterclass. So all this technical stuff like the lighting and the cameras and the microphones and setting up online and the thumbnails, we go through all of that. This is the last time I'm going to offer this program at this price. And at this point, if you join, you actually get it for lifetime access. So it means each time I do the program virtually live again, you will be able to join and learn new tips and tricks because I know YouTube is changing. So if you're going to join, I suggest you join now. That is YouTubesidehustle.com. So let's look at the questions that are coming in, if any. What up, Anthony Abram? I think that's who it is. Yep, that's Anthony. All right, you guys, if you have any questions, let me know. I'm going to be here for a couple minutes. Don't forget, tomorrow we're coming back. I believe tomorrow we're talking about being comfortable in front of the camera. Forgot what I should have looked at. Oh, actually, I could look it up because I posted it here. So this series is all about how to start your YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to me, subscribe now. And then set reminders for these. They're every night at 8:30 Eastern. Yep. So our next topic tomorrow is getting comfortable in front of the camera. I'm going to copy and paste this comment here So you guys have this. Go ahead and click on this link. And then what you're going to do is set the reminder so I can see you tomorrow as well. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and add your questions as well, and I'll come back. But thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions about the YouTube side hustle or the gifts that I'll be giving out, please let me know. I'll see you all tomorrow, and happy St. Patrick's Day. Love y'all. Ciao.